all set, Marion?
All set.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Marion, if you could do a roll call, please. Here. 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 Okay, we'll move to approval of the June 9th minutes.
I move that we approve the meeting, or the minutes as written.
Support.
Jeff, thank you. Is a motion and support to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll go to new business, appeal number 1. Read the appeal, Marion, please.
Appeal number 1, request by Terrence Sharon for a 6.15 foot and 2.6 foot side yard setback variance and a 10 foot rear yard setback variance to build a new dwelling on a vacant parcel on the Hidden View Trail, Benton, Michigan, 48430. Parcel number is 470403203024. The property is zoned R1, single family residential, reference Tyrone Township, ordinance number 36, section 2801, schedule of regulations.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sheeran, that's you. If you could come and give us a brief summary, please, that'd be great.
Print off hard copies, so I just want to make sure I have stuff available.
Yeah.
So, this particular lot here is, it's burdened by a couple things. One is the pond, because the setback takes up, well, the pond itself takes up a lot of square feet, and then the setback also takes up square feet. What is really burdening the property is, as you can see, the road, or the cul-de-sac that comes in is not parallel to the back property line, the rear property line. So it ends up being, with the setbacks, ends up being a very small building envelope. The association subdivision, I'm sure all of you are familiar with those of Tyrone. This is a very nice subdivision with very nice homes in it. They have certain standards that they want to keep as well. So, you know, for a ranch, they want a 2,000 square foot house. If you go to a story and a half, it gets bigger and bigger as you go up. They also want a minimum of a 3-car garage. Now, I Friday received approval from the association for the site plan that I have presented to you as well. They understand the limitations of the lot. They want to have a home built on the lot. So they've agreed that I'm about, if you look at the a story and a half house, because there is, this plan here will have a large bonus room over the garage. So if you count it as a story and a half, I'm about 60 square feet short of the 2,400 they want, but because of the limitations of the lot, they agreed to waive that requirement in this case. In addition, the variances that I'm requesting, so the northern unit 25, they did not clear their tree line all the way back, and you can see that. So they will not see the variances at all because of their tree line, and I might even leave some of my tree line there as well. To the south, there where the pond is, you can see there's some pine trees that are growing there, and they're maybe 6-8 feet tall right now, and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they can keep growing, because that is not an area that I'm even going to look at myself. So that'll block the view from that direction for those neighbors, so they're not going to see. And you know, we're only slightly over. I mean, it's not a major variance that we're asking for. You know, the deck is a bit, but if it weren't for the cul-de-sac, unfortunately, I couldn't, do the garage on the south side, because you've got the pond there, so there's no place to move the garage. As I explained to the association, if we added to the north side of the house, now you've got an even bigger variance that you would need on that. So the house that we have picked is ideal for this lot, I think. And we just need a little more room for the setbacks. The neighbor to the east, that's actually my business partner's nephew, Tim, and I'll work with him. I think he's got a kind of a drop off there, and there'll probably end up being some type of culvert or drainage running along that rear property line for the house to the north and Tim's house, and then of course my house for drainage. So we'll probably have some type of planting or something there. But I'll ask him what he wants. And as you can even see on the GIS map there, somehow his lot is deeper and this one isn't as deep. I'm not quite sure, whoever drew the plat out, I didn't look to see who drew the plat, but this particular lot wasn't quite as deep as what Tim's is there.
Thank you. So I have one question. This is kind of, doesn't show up clearly, but this is the garage, I'm assuming this.
Yeah, that area is the garage. The other plan, so that one's just kind of what I superimposed on the survey. I took the image of the plan that we had and superimposed it on there. This one right here shows the actual dimensions of the house, but yes, this is the garage right here. And it's a courtyard style home, so you pull in and your front door and your garage is to your right.
Oh, this is the, right here, okay.
Yep.
So,
and I think we need the variance for the deck because with the elevations of that lot, I'll probably end up having at least daylight windows in the basement, if not a full walkout. So it kind of do you want to spend $10,000 bringing in dirt or just spend $14,000 on a walkout is kind of the trade-off there. So. Honestly, bringing in dirt might screw up natural drainage anyway.
so just one question. On this show here, this 43.8 number is to the tip of the structure, right? Not to the blue line?
Yeah.
That's the way I'm reading
Yeah,
it. I just want to make sure I'm reading it.
Yeah, you have the 43.87 and then the 4.7?
Okay, thanks. You guys have any questions on this one? Those are my questions. I don't know if you have.
No, I walked the property and I agree with you. I wasn't really sure how you were going to build in there.
I'm still wondering about how much it's going to cost me to clear all of that foliage. You didn't step in the poison ivy, I
I got to it and turned around and came back out. Yeah.
right between the pond and what would be the south building envelope, there's poison ivy in there.
Yeah.
And I'll have to find out. That pond, I thought when I checked Eagle's site, that pond was, part of that pond might be on there. But I'll have to find out what you can spray, what you can spray without getting in trouble, I guess.
Okay, so there's no other comments or questions.
Maybe a
Go ahead, Jeff.
procedural question for the board or Marion. So on here, it says that the overhang is not included. Do our restrictions allow the overhang to go over the building envelope, or do we need to account for that in our approval?
When I read your zoning, it said it was 1 foot plus an inch for every, what exactly did it say?
I just want to make sure.
When I read the zoning ordinance, it was, you had like a foot.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't approve it and then actually need another 12 or 18 inches for the overhang.
I hope.
No, typically it's the
I
foundation,
couldn't answer that.
Foundation,
without
okay.
going through
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, from my understanding is the foundation.
unless you have
I mean,
a big
I'm more
post.
concerned about the builder actually putting it where he's supposed to put it than I am the overhangs, that's what, so. And I do have, I mean, you know, if you see I'm off the rear setback with the house, so that gives me, I think there's like a foot or foot and a half there. So it gives me a little wiggle room. If I have to cut, 6 inches off the deck and push the house back a little bit to do it, then I have that ability. So I didn't want to be right on the building setback and then have no, you know what surveyors put on paper and what builders actually do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can attest to that. You've had
Yeah, the foundation survey is what matters.
Well, we'll have, Fenton Land Surveying did the original survey, so once the lot gets cleared, probably have them come back out and do the site plan and elevations, because the association needs the elevations.
Good question, Jeff. Thank you. Any other questions?
No, I have no other questions.
Okay, so we'll open for oral and written comments. I know we didn't receive any written comments besides the HOA's preliminary approval. Anything else, Marion? No, we didn't.
We have some.
Okay, yeah, so, if you could, then, you could have a seat then, if you were that way, if there's public comments, then you could.
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate it. So if you could, for public comment, come forward to the table and then state your name and address for the record, thank you.
Hi. I am Gina Willingham. I reside at 11300 Hidden View Court. It would be the north lot of this lot.
Okay, this,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then the residents that live in the other homes that received the letter are also here, except for, nope, never mind, we are all here. So, the lots across the street, the lot to the east of the lot in question, the lot to the south, and then southwest, and then across the street on Ridgeview Court as well. All of the surrounding neighbors are here to object to the variance request of the setbacks that are being asked for. Partly, we have a list of different reasons. I can, hand those to you with their addresses, names, signatures, as well as my own. Parts of those reasons are for privacy issues. I know the one house to the east, was stated it would be a 10-foot variance towards that home, which would create not only a privacy issue, but then also possible drainage issue. There has been some major drainage issues in our subdivision. I know that a couple of the neighbors that are here have also had some issues within their own lots of different things being, new homes coming in, pools being dug, things like that, and so on. Clearing the trees, I know he had said that we hadn't cleared all of our trees. If the lot below us does get cleared, or south of us gets cleared, we will probably remove those trees because they're not great trees. They're just, right now it's a buffer, and would have to clean some of that up. So it would be also a privacy issue for our home as well. Part of the other things we were trying to, I didn't know exactly what the association had approved. We had kind of just received the letter from the township and then kind of had talked amongst ourselves at that point. I'm not sure as far as the south of the lot, it has the wetlands, just, you know, to make sure that that's being preserved correctly. I know there was some issues as far as when other homes have been built and whether that was being done properly as well. A couple of the other items on here, that the lot was being sold at a cheaper price. As far as, you know, a lot of the other lots in the sub, I think there's another one on the other side, in the east side, being sold at $150,000. And part of that is because this does have a very hard building envelope to build in, and why it is at that discounted rate. So that is, we are asking for, again, to object to the variance request, and we've got a letter here with our signatures on it for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you mind if I get one more signature? See what's here now.
Thanks.
Yep.
Any other public comments? I understand she was kind of speaking on behalf of everybody, but still want to make sure if you want to, please come forward.
Or if I missed anything,
So I just want to make sure, I can tell this reiterate.
Yeah, if
Craig
you-
Taylor,
Okay, thank you.
I live at lot 31, so just to the north of Oswego Bridge is. So, sorry, go up, sorry, the other way, right there, you go due north, right there.
Yeah, okay.
And I think I must just still be in the line, so it doesn't affect me in my backyard, it's just a couple things that houses that have come in, if you look next to it, they had a very tight building envelope also, so to the left, I guess, to my left, yeah. In there, they built the house basically a two-story because of that. And also, as you can see, some of the changes in that area, I don't know how it affects it, but it really does. Drainage is quite a bit of things in water on top of that. So just building the house further back can affect it. I don't know if it is, but it's one more thing to concern. And probably the other part was just reiterating is the rules everybody else has built primarily with little variances to what the lot is. So I just, coming in, it looks like the price is probably, it's like $39,000. When I bought my lot, it was around 80-some thousand, and that's what they went through. So it definitely seems like it's priced for what the lot is. And now coming in and being able to variance off of it, especially to the south side, I guess would be where we're building it off. It seems like it's quite a variation. So those are just my points.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other public comments? Okay. Thank you. Come back to the board members for consideration of action or any further questions.
So do you own this lot currently, or are you in the process of trying to buy this lot?
I have a purchase.
You got a purchase agreement on it, so it's not like you're stuck holding the bag should this not go your way.
I am not stuck holding the bag, but the association might end up being.
Yeah, well, somebody will be, if you can't build on it.
Well, I
Has,
can't help, the tree line on a different lot.
Yeah.
And as far as drainage goes, obviously, both the association and the township, the building department are gonna make sure final grade is appropriate. As far as the pond goes, again, I chose a cul-de-sac, or excuse me, a courtyard style home so that we wouldn't affect the area between the house and the pond with even a driveway. And so that alone goes out of its way to preserve the pond. The drainage issues, according to the president a few years ago, they had to clear, there's drainage that goes from the pond underneath the road, and they had to do some clearing to open up the drain because it wasn't draining enough. But
Was there,
you're not gonna end up with any more water than you already have, so at least you shouldn't.
was there ever a conversation with the HOA about maybe a variance for the garage to go to like 2.5 instead of 3?
No. According to their building restrictions, you needed to have a minimum of a 3-car garage. And that was one of the ideas here is, I'm not trying to go in and build a cheap house in a very nice subdivision. We're trying to build a house that doesn't bring down the neighborhood, it maintains it as well. The other lot in question that was 140,000 or 150,000, that lot is actually a double lot and I believe that's in the hills of Tyrone East, which is the southern part. That lot has issues too. I don't know that if it'll ever sell, because my understanding is it needs a very expensive retaining wall built on it. But this lot's been for sale multiple times for $60,000 over the years, and the current owner's, ready to wants to get rid of it. I think he's older and is ready to kind of move on from it. As far as the price goes, I mean, the price is what the price is. I'm not going to voluntarily pay more for something that I can obviously get cheaper. So, quite frankly, the price has no bearing.
I drove through that neighborhood, walked the property, and all of the water flow that would go from any place is to the north of you.
What's the parking?
All of the water flow in that neighborhood is to the north of you, coming south.
Coming south.
I don't believe that you would create a water flow problem to the north of you.
Yeah, no, I mean, our drain, well, I know, like I say, along the rear property line, I'm gonna guess there's gonna be some type of culvert or drain ditch that runs through there. Not only to drain my property, but Tim's property and the property to the north as well.
If there's no further questions, I'll entertain.
I did want to answer your other question on the garage size. It's important to me to have a 3-car garage so that I don't have to have a house. The association does want to limit those as much as possible. What would you rather look at, a 3-car garage or a shed out back?
I think we have to have a 3-car garage in ourselves.
You do. That's the minimum.
Right.
Is a 3-car garage. And again, you know, if you did go down to a 2.5-car garage, now you're not keeping up with the Joneses, I guess you could say. So you're building a less expensive house that, you know, would end up bringing the neighborhood down rather than maintaining it or lifting it up.
I do have a question in regard to, you're referring to as the deck, because on the plan that shows to me, it looks like it's a foundation there, so is it a covered porch area, or what is it?
It is a covered porch, yes.
So it has a foundation, that 10 feet?
No, it does not have a foundation, it's a raised deck.
It's a covered,
It's a raised deck with a covered porch, with a
okay,
roof over top of it.
so that's what the 10 feet is.
Yeah, well, it's actually, it's 12 feet, but if you look, we're 2 feet off the rear setback line.
I mean, from looking at, like, lot 22, almost certainly had to get a variance for that side setback, right?
Which one is that one? Oh, yeah.
I'm just looking at the lot,
Yeah, the one at the very end of that cul-de-sac looks to be right on.
yeah, that seems to be right on the property line, so
There are many in these subdivisions that have had.
They've had
we
to
had
get-
one- I don't think it was Hills of Tyrone. No, at the last meeting, there's a couple similar type of situations. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we need to look at the building envelope, right? Because some of those are only like 8 feet to the side, so you probably don't, like ours was not like that, you know what I mean? I guess the biggest one, they made the building envelopes for a reason, when they did them, right? I don't know if there's been any variation. I know those are fine either, or if not, and I was at least invited.
And I think lot 22, if the one that was, the one you were looking at, that one, yeah, that was one of the first homes in there.
I know that didn't have a variance.
And I believe that they own both lots on either side of it.
I guess, is there 20, there,
Yeah, and
there's,
Josh and,
oh, is that 22 on the neighboring subdivision, is that what it is?
yeah.
Because there's two 22s, looks like.
Yeah, there's one in the desk down.
Yeah, I'm referencing that one.
Yeah, your red line here is gonna be the Hills of Tyrone.
But
Yeah.
we have to take this application.
Yeah, no, I
Against the
see,
four
yes,
criteria, but I
yes.
understand where you're coming from, Jeff, and
Yeah.
hey, what's the context here? Yeah. I'll bring it.
No, that was a.
Good points, though. Appreciate it, Jeff.
So the 22 that you were talking about is the one at the end of the cul-de-sac?
What were we talking about?
Yeah, the one at the end of the cul-de-sac.
We did not get a variance, we built inside the envelope. And we had the architect build it.
So that's 20 feet?
It certainly doesn't look like it.
Not likely 10, 20 feet. It's hard to know if GIS sometimes.
Yeah,
our
yeah,
lines are
yeah.
off, but,
I know Tim's house had to have, which is the one to the east, that one was wanting to be a ranch, but they ended up building a two-story to stay within the building envelope as well.
It seems though that the issue is more the garage. Having to come out 3 wide with the garage, right?
And probably the rear setback, right?
Yeah, the deck on the rear, I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
we're in even the setbacks, you and yours, right?
Well, I think the problem that you'd have And it's similar to the stuff that's a little bit to the north of this house, is that if you cleared the property, everyone's going to see the same thing you guys up top of the hill see everybody else's house. I don't know whether privacy is really an issue here, and I know for sure the value of the property means nothing to us. It's what it is. So I'm trying to deal with a water issue that you brought up. He's at the bottom. He's getting all your water, and I'm not sure how that matters. I'm confused about that.
Oh, I just think the further you go back, then you could shed the water. I said it may be an issue. I just know every time we've built with the changes of elevation, like I said, we've had to deal with Livingston County, but they basically said I got to work with the builder, and just that's what happened in the lot next to me. So I'm just saying, as you move that further back and off to the side, it just sheds water more to the east. That's all. Not to me in particular. If it is, I did not mean it that way. I just said it can be a flowing issue. That's what I'm saying. The
Okay.
further you go back, then you've got to grade it further to the east. That's all. You have to further go that way. That's what I'm saying.
But if I'm not misunderstanding, if he blocks it up, it's gonna flood his property. Still gonna run off of yours and be a mess in his backyard.
Tim's property is higher than mine, and in fact, I believe he has a drop-off that are a very steep.
But yeah, should you not do the appropriate measures to make the water drain, you're gonna be the dam and it's gonna be at your spot.
Yeah, it'll end up in my basement.
The water is nothing that keeps me. I'm on the top of the hill for what this is. I
Well,
was just letting you know that that's another.
Yeah.
That's all I was trying to say is we move things.
Well,
back.
she went through her list, and one of the very first things she talked about was water flow. And this is the bottom of the hill.
Right, but what
And-
about the pond? Will that affect the pond?
I would imagine that if it gets in effects, I would assume that that's considered a wetland, and Eagle will get involved in that first, right off the bat, to determine
Right.
what to do with that. But again, I don't know whether we are really making the decision about water flow in this situation. We're trying to figure out whether or not we can give 2 feet on one side and 4 or 5 feet on the other side.
Right.
And I don't know if all of the other things are really an issue for us to address.
Okay, but they might be issues for other places. I'm trying to figure out, because I know we've had a lot of water issues in that subdivision. I know that across the street, like they said, the Taylors had had issues in their own backyard. We've had issues in 5 houses to the west of us, they had built a pool and they're having they've had a lot of water issues there. I know the principal on the east side has had his basement's been flooded for years now, and there's been a lot of issues as far as different things. So I was just trying to figure out where, if the water's going to be an issue and if it will affect the pond.
But if I understand what you're saying is that your concern about water flow is for the people downhill from him, not you, because you're uphill. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And I think the biggest thing is that the lot was what it is, and it feels like somebody's coming in and, to be honest, it's been on the market for a while, and is now building a house they want to build on a lot that was made for a different building envelope, and others have built the house within those reasons. So that's really the part of, not that I could have just, like I said, went to variance earlier and built what we want. That's really, it is. I mean, we can say what we want, but I paid $80,000, most of the range, I think within the range were probably 60 to 70,000.
Yeah, but that's a blue herring.
No, I'm just, yeah, it is.
That's a blue herring.
What's happening is they're coming in and now allowing to build the house that they want. That's what the kind of the argument.
Let's be honest, on the price of those lots, there was a time you could have bought them from the state bank for $12,000.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did buy them.
No.
And I think, Don, you mentioned this, but it's good that you came and you gave public comment, but for us as a zoning board, we have to take the variance request and determine if it meets the criteria for granting a variance, and if there's an unreasonable burden placed on this lot by its features, right, that we can't control. So, but it's good to have the input from the public, but some of it, we can't take it into consideration from a variance request perspective. But thank you, just
Would,
from context.
would a two-story fit in this envelope, no problem?
No, I actually, well, so I use, this house plan actually came from, it's a website, America's Best Home Plans. I went through that site and looked at varying home plans, and, you know, so as we said, when you go to a two-story, it's
Gets
more
bigger.
square footage. So the home itself gets bigger. If you're going to go to a two-story and you move that garage, say, to the south, you're just making the house longer, so now you're gonna be a variance
The
on
other
the other corner.
So short of, I guess the reason I asked that question, short of a variance, this is basically an unbuildable lot.
I don't know if you, I guess, if you look at the house next to me, I don't know the building envelope, but it looked pretty small, they made it fit in the same range.
I mean, if you wanna zoom out on that map, on the GIS map, take any one of those houses in that subdivision and put it on that lot,
So, right
and tell
there,
me if it's gonna fit in the building.
so keep going north, and that's just,
And, you know,
to the left here, you go up and go left. On the cul-de-sac on that road, right, I can't. It's hard to tell.
You can get up and
Keep
point
going
for
up.
us.
Yep, now go down and go to the right, my right, sorry, it's house. It's lot like 32, it's all right, it's hard to see from there. Yeah, right there. So that's the house, they built a two-story in a very, very tight lot. And to be honest, we were kind of confused how they got it all fit in that area.
Well, the lot's more rectangle without those radiuses.
If you look at this shot, just look at it. And we can go over there. I'm not saying it wasn't, it just feels like it's a personal preference. I think the question is, could a two-story fit, not the one
But,
that.
like, if this property line here went straight on out till it met that one, you could put whatever you want on that lot. But, yeah, and that's where I'm coming from. To me, it seems that there's a reasonable hardship for this particular piece of land without it just being,
Well, I was told by the builder, because I had asked him about building on that lot, and he said that a two-story could be built on that lot. It would cost, money to build up the lot and things like that, but it could stay within the envelope. And that was from, here.
I mean, like, do you have a family that you need a giant house for? So you'd have to build a two-story just to use
my
it?
dogs would
Yeah.
like a little extra room, but,
Gotcha, okay.
no, in fact, the bonus room, so we've added, this house on the website, like, you might have saw is originally like 1,700 square feet. The builder is adding 4 feet, to get us to our square footage where we need to be. So, and that's gonna put a very large bonus room over the garage. So you're gonna have a bonus room that's 20 by 30 feet, or 18 by 30, something like that.
Is that taken into consideration, your question that you just asked though, like what type of home you would need, how big of a home you would need?
I live in a 1,500 square foot one.
Yeah, I guess what I was saying is, like, if it would be very difficult to make a two-story work on there, then you have 800 square feet that you don't need just to satisfy this.
Yeah, we could flip the other way though, right, that's the requirement, so you have to give a choice to not build there too. Like I'm saying, we built the bigger house,
But
because we ranch. I'm just-
am I misunderstanding that the HOA is okay with your square footage?
The homeowners association has
Okay.
the square footage.
No, I'm saying if they build a two-story, I'm saying the argument is that he doesn't need the space, but the two-story does fit.
But-
It's kind of like not emotional to us, that if a two-story is how you have to build on that, that's what you.
So if you put a two-story house on that and say you move the garage to the south end of the house, now your driveway is going to be in the 50 feet between the pond and the house. The way it is now with the courtyard, that 50 feet is land. And like I said, the existing trees, I'm not planning on removing those, and if anybody wants to come and plant a tree there, they're more than welcome to. I will.
It seems like building the courtyard style will fit more in with the subdivision than just trying to go up, just to get the square footage.
Maybe we have 2 stories in that part of the subdivision.
Yeah, I understand, but inside this building envelope, because really what we're talking about is just those 2 little triangles.
No, I think it's the back part, right?
That's where the issue is?
The 10-foot towards the rear is probably the biggest issue.
That's the biggest issue from
Ends
the,
up heating on somebody's when you weren't expecting to have.
Beat that. Well, there won't be any parties in my house. And there certainly won't be a pool. The dogs will have an underground fence.
But-
If I find them in the pond, they'll be sleeping in the garage.
but there's not gonna be a foundation under the covered porch?
No, well, what there would be under the covered porch is, if we're daylight windows, it'll be dirt. If it's a walkout, then you'll have a level, piece of concrete for your, patio for the walkout where the door wall would be. Because the door, on the plans for a walkout, that would be a level piece of concrete with the ground. Which wouldn't, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think a level, concrete level with the ground even needs a variance.
No, there's a roof over it though, that's the concern, right? If the roof is covered, attached to the house.
So if we took the covered porch off, or the top of it off, you still have a raised deck, number one. But if you took the covered porch off, again, I think you're lowering your standards for the house you want in that subdivision. Now you're building a cheaper house. And that's what we,
Thanks. Yeah, so.
And, I mean, to me, as far, the privacy issue, to me, is not really an issue. I mean, it is what it is. But you could build your house in that envelope and then mow everything down, or you could give you a variance and you could have lots of bushes that would, the privacy is, I mean, it sucks for you guys that live there and then that lot has been just vacant and nobody's been there, but I don't think privacy is one of our criteria that we can make our decision on.
so if the neighbors don't want a house built there, they have the option of purchasing it.
Well, yeah, 5 neighbors could throw in $8,000 apiece and they could have their own little common area.
Yeah, so, well, bring it back to.
I'm not trying to be unfriendly with my future neighbors, but.
No, we'll bring it back to
there was a
the
solution.
board now for consideration of action. I think we've had a lot of input, appreciate it, so we'll entertain a motion one way or the other from the board. Unless there's further questions, guys.
I will move that we approve it.
I will second it.
Okay, so there's been a motion and a second to approve the variance as requested. Any discussion? Jeff, you got anything? You look like you're, before we.
No, I guess, I was just looking to see if that covered porch, because earlier in the conversation, we said we're specifically looking at the foundation. But now, if there's not a foundation under that covered porch,
Yeah, but if there's a roof line, when you go, because you're like that goes out
Yeah,
over it, you
yeah.
have to clearly state it, because you can't
okay,
just build it after
Yep.
the fact, right?
right.
Well, the deck being raised, I think alone was enough.
Absolutely, yeah.
Need for a variance.
Yeah, if it was just a deck, it would still require it.
It would, okay.
I don't know if you just poured a patio, like you said. I don't know if that would, if it was flat to the ground, but for sure a deck would.
When I was reading I think it was like, you had like 9 inches or something,
Okay.
within 9 inches, something of the ground.
Okay, so any other discussion on the motion, guys? Okay, Mary, if we go through roll call vote, please.
Jeff Scott,
Yes.
Tim Farmer,
Yes.
Tom Bungalow.
Yes.
Dick Harrison.
Yes. Okay, any other miscellaneous business, Marion? For us, I know you mentioned we have an application for August and September. Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go to adjournment then, and move to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there the email? They'll email approval or?
Yes, correct, yep.